Good morning. Today is Monday, July 24th. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Lawmakers in the Israeli parliament have passed a controversial judicial reform bill. The measure has drawn fiery condemnation from opponents who say it will significantly damage Israel's democracy. Supporters in the ruling party say they want to stop the Israeli Supreme Court from overreaching. There is so much fury about the judicial reform legislation that some members of professional groups, such as doctors, have gone on strike briefly. Some military reservists in Israel have said they won't work either. Today is the deadline for Texas Governor Greg Abbott to respond to the Justice Department over floating barriers in the Rio Grande. As Texas Public Radio's David Martin Davies reports, the federal agency is threatening Texas with legal action.
Last week, the Biden administration sent the Texas governor's office notice that it wanted to enter into negotiations over the removal of the buoy barrier. Abbott ordered the floating wall placed in the middle of the river separating the United States and Mexico to prevent migrants from illegally crossing into Texas. The DOJ says the buoys violate federal law, raise humanitarian concerns, and present serious risk to public safety and the environment. The buoy wall is the latest development in a growing battle between Republican states and the federal government over the border and immigration. Abbott signaled on Twitter he is not backing down, writing, quote, "We'll see you in court, Mr. President." I'm David Martin Davies in San Antonio.
A new survey from the National Association for Business Economics shows considerable optimism about the U.S. economy. Steve Beckner reports those results run counter to speculation over the past year that the U.S. economy was in risk of going into recession.
Actual business conditions are turning out better than many had feared. NABE President Julia Coronado says the survey of her members, quote, reflects an economy of rising sales and profits. The business economists say their firms were able to increase prices at the same time their material costs fell and upward wage pressures lessened. Coca-Cola chief economist Carlos Herrera, who chaired the NABE survey, says the resulting brighter profit outlook means most firms in the group are now more confident about the economy over the next year. For NPR News, I'm Steve Beckner.
The National Weather Service says excessive heat is sticking around much of the U.S. today. Millions of people, mostly in the central U.S. and the West, are under heat advisories or warnings. Forecasters caution the dangerous heat will spread to much of the eastern two-thirds of the country this week. Search teams in Pennsylvania are concentrating their efforts to find a missing baby. He was swept away in a flash flood north of Philadelphia more than a week ago. That flood killed 6 people, including his mother and 2-year-old sister. This is NPR.